What is going on, everyone? My name is AZ Araujo, and welcome to another episode of Bad As Agents podcast. Now, we really focus on elements outside of just production, right? In this industry, we're expected to be good producers. We're expected to deliver as agents and as business owners. But today, I have a very special guest, and I'll bring him on here in a second. But, you know, the goal of this is to really shine the light on other things besides just real estate. One thing that we realize is that real estate is the business, right? But it's what fuels that business that's very important. And that's why we talk about real life, real people, real estate. And today, my special guest is Mr. Frank Martin Jr., Jr., a.k.a. pro football player, a.k.a. baby daddy, a.k.a. overall badass agent, man. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Dude, like, your life has changed here in the last...
Bro.
Holy... Yo, bro.
Crazy.
Well, tell me, what's changed in your life here in the last couple
biggest thing,
weeks?
Sleep. Well, actually, you know, we just most recently had a baby, obviously.
Yeah. Baby boy, Mateo.
Baby boy, Mateo. Yes, sir.
So tell me what that means here.
Man, I really can't really put it into words, man. It's you know, you're a father.
Yeah.
It's surreal, especially trying to get to this point for so long. It's just it's surreal, man. It still doesn't feel real until you see him every day and you look at him, and it's just like, man.
Man,
crazy.
I'll tell you what, Frank. We had a conversation about this just before we started this podcast, and I'm going to tell you something. Like, I remember when you first came into the brokerage, and it was a little over a year and a half ago. Yeah. And we had this conversation about, you know, family and babies and you know, you wanting to be a father. And it's something you've tried over the last 18 years, right?
18 years, yeah. We spoke about it, and you said it would happen.
Yeah. And dude, look, man, my skin is crawling right now, dude.
It's crazy.
I can't tell you how proud I am of you, dude. Like, I can't tell you how happy I am for you.
Thank you.
You know,
I appreciate it.
And I know that that journey that you went through, you know, trying and putting it almost puts a strain in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
because you know, you get married typically, and it's in every situation is a little different.
Yeah.
To start a family.
Yeah.
And you know, going through this process was not an easy one.
Not at all.
And here's the thing, like, when I heard the news, man, it was just I can only imagine what you felt. But you know, for me, I just started thinking, like, Frank, this was supposed to happen exactly the way it was, because who you are today, you're going to give your child such a head start in life, right?
Without question.
And it's an amazing thing that you've done, because and congratulations to you and your wife, but
Thank you.
Just seeing you just grow and really owning every aspect of who you are, an amazing life you've led. I mean, when I said, you know, pro football player, you're a college player, but you played arena football.
Yeah.
And you know, you've been able to grow as a man, as a husband, and really have that appreciation for your life over all these years. And now you're going to be able to give your child a head start, which is amazing, dude. And you said something very interesting. It says sometimes we want it to happen. Tell me, how did you say it?
Yeah, so it doesn't always happen when we want it to happen, but it always happens when it's supposed to.
It happens when it's supposed to.
Yeah, with everything.
Bro, and when I see the face of your baby boy, I told you this already, man. It's like he's already awake.
Yeah.
He's awake to the world. Like, he knows.
I thought all babies were supposed to be like that. I'm getting comments like, you know, like, your baby looks so aware. And I'm like, okay, if somebody else says
like,
the baby's going to.
On day 2, 48 hours, you post a photo, and this dude's looking at me like, is this a good pose right here? I'm like.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I've seen this. Like, I always see this with individuals. I'll see some kids, not to knock anybody's child or anything else, but I see children, and some of them are just walking around kind of like impressionable. Like, oh, they're just kind of trying to figure out what the world is all about. Right. Usually toddlers, right? They're kind of apprehensive about everything.
Yeah.
And then there's those toddlers that are just have this knowing in the brow, right? In the brow and in their eyes.
Yeah.
And they're just walking around like, okay, maybe I don't have everything figured out, but somehow I'm going to
I
figure this shit out. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So, like, what's changed here with your you know, with your family as far as the bonds, the connections? Like, what has been going on,
Well,
man?
like this whole process was like a beautiful bonding process between me and my wife, because you know, she labored for like, you know, like, I don't know, 48 hours.
Dang.
And just seeing her, like the strength that she was able to to show, and like just what she went through, it just gives me a deep appreciation for, for her as well. So I think that created like a deeper bond for us. And then also going through this process that we're in now, just it's a little frustrating. The baby's crying at night.
Right.
She feels like she can't get away to do anything because
dude, her life got flipped upside down.
Yeah,
man.
so it's both of us are kind of learning for that. And we had a conversation this morning, and she came to me, and she had some realizations about frustration she had, and she's telling me it wasn't my fault necessarily. The frustration she's having, right? So we had a good conversation. So this whole process has been like deepening the bond between us.
That's amazing. And the growth, it just takes your marriage to another level.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned that about you guys are talking that it's not, and she realizes it's not your fault, but oftentimes we're the receiving end of that frustration.
Yeah.
And what frustrates men is thinking that we have to fix it.
Yeah.
And the reality is we have to be a friend at that point.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if she were just calling somebody else and just like venting on them. Because honestly, like my wife doesn't have anybody else to vent to.
Yeah,
like I'm her best friend, right? And she's my best friend. So sometimes that energy just has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And if we're able to stand strong and just say, I get what you're going through. Like your body's changed, your hormones all over the place. Your life got flipped upside down. Like you went from this, independent woman to now like staying at home with baby. It's just changed significantly.
I mean, the beautiful thing for me is that that's the role that I try to assume, right? Let me be the support, let you know that I understand what you're going through. But the beautiful thing for me specifically is the acknowledgement for her, without me coming to say that to her, that she realized that, she saw some of the frustration with me, even though I'm trying to be there. But she realized like some of these things that she's going through and came to me and proposed them to me, right? So the beautiful thing to me is she's realizing and growing, knowing what her role has become, and that it's not necessarily my fault.
Yeah.
And I'm here to support you in everything I do. That's who I am. Like she's got most support she can possibly have.
I get it. Like it's funny because during the pregnancy, that's another challenge altogether, right?
Yeah.
That's another challenge altogether. And one of the things that Carla, she often brings up is like with Abigail, my eldest. She's 13 years old now.
Yeah.
She says, she was just very lovable with me.
Yeah.
She was lovable. Like she wanted to be around me. She was always like, I don't know what it is about my scent, but she always wanted to smell me and just coddle, on me. And and it was very different, radically different with my 9-year-old, Madeline.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be around me. She couldn't stand me.
Yeah.
And
that's adjustment for you, though.
It's adjustment. It's adjustment, but like you said, this is, a lot of people say, my kids are my purpose. And here's the thing. My kids are not my purpose.
Yeah.
They are the fuel to my purpose.
Right.
They are the fuel to my purpose.
Sure.
And it's an amazing thing. It has, being a father, getting reconnected. And that's why I think I showcase so much joy for you, is that you have the eyes to see of the things that I couldn't see in the first 5 to 6 years as a father.
Right.
When I was a father running a business, a very successful real estate business, I didn't understand how to balance that out. I didn't understand how to be that coach and mentor for my daughters. Right. I was just simply the provider.
Sure.
And it is our job not to simply be a provider, but be the greatest coach and mentor for our children. And I didn't see that for the first 5 or 6 years. Yeah. And, there are some regrets because I missed many, many wonderful moments growing up, many bonding moments that I wish I could take back. Yeah. But like you just said, it's supposed to happen when it's supposed to happen, not when I want it to happen.
Yeah.
And today, fast forward, 7, 8 years, it's completely changed. The dynamic of our relationship has completely changed.
Yeah.
And they're seeing dad be able to do all things at a high level.
Right.
And that's what creates a badass agent. That's why I wanted you here, because you're able to live life at a high level where you're producing at a high level. Sure. You're showing up powerfully in your marriage. You're showing up purpose-driven for yourself, right? Which will kind of bleeds into everything else. Sure. And now as a father, you have the eyes to see, to create that bonding moment from day one and realizing that they're always watching.
Yeah.
And, with that being said, one thing that I really like that you're doing is that your business is growing tremendously.
Sure. Yeah.
Like it's growing, it continues to grow. You're adding systems and processes. Mm-hmm. This is going to be your best year yet, right?
Definitely, 100%.
What do you think is attributed to that? Like, what's changed about your business over the last year that has really propelled it moving forward? Where you're just it's a full-fledged business.
Yeah. I think just knowing, just having the mindset that I need to operate in a certain way, whereas before I was owning a job. I wasn't owning a business or running a business specifically. Mm-hmm. So I like to see it more so as a business, even though, we all have times where we fall back into that, that mindset. But
it's just patterns, right? It's like old habits.
Right. But you make that correction, you get back on, on course and whatnot. But it's just that my mindset has just changed. Like being in the environment I've been in, had I not left where I was at previously, mm-hmm. which is why I left, I would be in the same position or probably worse than I was then. And so I attribute that move and my success to coming here.
I love it, man. Yeah. And here's the thing. I think that's what keeps a lot of people at bay, right? It's the comfort level. It's like I have all my systems here.
Killer. It's a killer, man. It's just like fear. Like it's like you said something yesterday about being paralyzed, right? Yeah. You just the comfort paralyzes you it lulls you to sleep into thinking whatever you're doing is good enough, and you don't see the greater potential, and then you don't expand.
Yeah.
And that's where you end up. When I was at that office for 10, 11 years. Yeah. Stagnant. Couldn't be any more stagnant than I was, right? Yeah. I was disconnected from the office. My sales were okay, nothing great, but I've come here and obviously put things into play, and night and day difference.
Yeah, no, and I see you as just owning this aspect of you, that you are, a marketer that is able to deliver a high level for mm-hmm. their clients.
Sure.
And you've done different things. You're doing more videos. You're doing, Facebook Lives. You're mm-hmm. doing a lot of posts. And what would you say to somebody that's just getting into the industry? Or let's just put it this way, like someone that's been in this industry for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And usually after 10 years, your sales should be at a certain level. Yeah. They should.
Yeah.
What would you say to those that continue to get the same predictable results over and over? Like, what would you tell them that they must do in order to get to that next level?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you have to see a greater possibility for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And then whatever that possibility is, what are the things you have to put in place to get there, right? And I think so many people just not necessarily like with what we do, real estate, like in anything, like you go to work, you come home, you do whatever you want to do for your kids, and you get in this routine, and then mm-hmm. and your head's always down. You can't see even what's in front of you.
Yeah.
So I think being able to step back, seeing where you're at, acknowledging the things you've accomplished and giving yourself appreciation for that, and being able to see where you want to go, and then putting a plan together to get there. I think that's the biggest thing.
It's a simple process, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think we're paralyzed by saying, well, I'm a $4 million producer every year. I produce $4 million in sales every year. That 10 seems so far away, right? Because we've tried it for so many years, and the reality is it's because we're too stuck in the business, right? And we can't see the $10 million because all we really need to see right now is how do I get $5 million in sales?
Yeah.
And I think we overcomplicate it. We get overwhelmed mm-hmm. about like how to get to that big number, as opposed to just realizing, okay, what's the next step for me to get there? Yeah. And part of that process, I think, is just inching forward, doing something that you're not typically doing right now, and just inching forward, because the level of possibilities, the horizon changes even if you inch forward. If you take one step forward and you're just like, oh, like from the place I was at right now, I couldn't figure it out, but now I see a different path and a different possibility.
Right.
And that's the great advice in doing that. Now, what would you say the majority of your business comes from?
Majority of my business comes from, it's referral based, mm-hmm. based upon the work I do with others. People tell a story, but I like to say the story that people tell about you is what's going to propel your business and generate more leads and more clients, et cetera. So I like to pride myself in, treating everybody fairly, going above and beyond people's expectations, and in turn, the stories they tell other people about their experience, flow over, and then that goes to somebody else, and it kind of, it's a domino effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're very strategic about this. You just don't deliver and say, oh, well, I hope they refer me. You're constantly mm-hmm. in contact.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think a lot of agents miss that. If you talk to top producers, the majority of their deals, regardless of how many leads they're getting from someplace, if you're very strategic, right? Whether you use online services or you're doing your own promotions, whether on social media, the Zillows, the Realtor.coms, part of this game is that it's being able to incubate and continue to follow up with your past clients, the people that you've already delivered for.
Yeah.
You already have showcased what you can do, what you can deliver, and at what level, a very high level.
Sure.
So those are the people that will continue to refer you, but it's about strategy and making sure that they're reminded that you are the go-to person.
Yeah. All those things have their purpose. The Realtor.com, Zillow, all those things have their purpose, right? But why work with somebody that you don't know when you can concentrate on people know, like, and trust you already, right? And they can give their stamp of approval, right? There's less, you're not fighting to do simple things like price adjustments or just advice specifically, right? They already trust you, they know you, they like you. So you're going to have a lot easier time with, kind of controlling the transaction and then taking what you have to say than you would some stranger, right?
Well, it's the difference of being seen as an authority versus a commodity, right? And with commodities, they think, well, you're just a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
And that's a hard game to play sometimes. And obviously, we do need paid leads are a very important part of the process. Right. A more profitable approach is once you pay those leads is to deliver at a high level and then continue to follow up like a madman. Like, and that's the thing. That's the only way I think realtors will survive this technology infiltration of our industry, right? It's just another player in the game.
Right.
A lot of people are getting scared of that, but it's just another player in the game. They're a big player.
Big player.
But at the end of the day, one thing that the Zillows can do, the Realtor.coms can do, is to deliver the personal service, the human factor.
They can't be you.
They can't be you.
Yeah.
And I think every individual, every successful agent out there is the best at what they do.
Absolutely.
And I think we have to approach this game just like that, where if you don't believe you're the best at what you do for your clientele base, then you're cutting yourself short. You're selling yourself short.
Doing a disservice.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you come in thinking that just because this other guy has more sales than you, you're going to play that role. Hey, I'm not as good.
Yeah. And they can feel that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the direction you're trying to give them, that uncertainty that you project is also something you may get back from them in their decision that they make.
Yeah, man, 100% true.
Yeah.
And I like this whole aspect of that mutual respect, where it's like you are a authority and not a commodity. When you say, hey, listen, we got to go this strategy, that they'll listen because you are seen as the authority and not just some guy that's trying to make a quick sell.
Right.
Now let's go back a little bit here. As you started this business, I would bet the fact that maybe you had a hard time, just because I think most agents do, have a hard time getting their business started.
Yeah.
Right? It was tough. You probably have some stories.
Yeah. Well, when you first start, right, you have more time than anything, right? So education is important, trying to figure out, like, what to do, how to do it. All those things are important, right? Because you don't have any leads most of the time, right? You don't have any clients. So get to know what to do in the process. Seek a mentor. Whatever it is that you can do to kind of accelerate that process is important, right? When I first started, I didn't do any of that. Like, I learned everything. Like, I didn't want to ask anybody for help. I wasn't comfortable with the place I was at. So I learned literally everything, which kind of slowed my process. And then on top of it, I wasn't doing it 100% like I am now. So it was just kind of like, I'll do it and then on the side or whatever. But
I think that's what causes frustration. They think that that you can get into this industry and do it some of the time.
Yeah.
No. And I think that's why we attract a lot of part-timers that think that they see somebody performing at a high level. They don't have any idea the sacrifices and the time that it took to actually get there.
Yeah.
They just see the immediate result. They're like, I can do this part-time.
Yeah.
And then they're frustrated and they're stuck in this bubble of kind of, I am a realtor, but I'm not. I don't have the confidence because I'm not all in.
Right.
And with this industry, it's about being all in.
Yeah.
And guess what? You're going to feel the pain. There's going to be some pains that you're going to feel. Everybody goes through that.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're commission-based, right? We don't get a check every single month, when it's time to get paid like everybody else. We take a risk, right? So if you're taking this risk, why not apply everything you have, right? Because if you don't produce, you don't get paid, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I think you have to apply yourself in order to be able to, kind of get that business moving.
And I say it to this, like a lot of agents coming into this industry just don't have the financial backing.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I remember when I started my franchise, which was outside of the real estate game. But when I started a franchise, man, I had to have like $500,000 of liquid cash plus so much more money in the banks and different assets. Right.
It's crazy.
And I'm starting to think, like, this is where the frustration happens for a lot of agents. They think they could get into this industry with very little money and then make hundreds of thousands of dollars in the back end.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want to see reality? Like, go look at all these franchises, all these small and pop shops, and tell them how long it took them to break even. And then that'll put things into perspective. Like, you don't deserve this yet. Quit feeling entitled that you should be making hundreds of thousands of dollars your first year, because it's not going to happen. Especially if you don't have the financing. Now, if you come in and you say, I have $50,000 to go into my marketing to get everything, okay, you have a higher chance. But most don't. And then they get frustrated. They think they're broken, and then they see themselves out of this business.
Not only that, even if you do have the capital in order to start a business, like something in real estate, which it doesn't have to take a lot of money to start, if you don't know how to apply that money, that could just be blowing money, right? Like with anything, like don't ever like step into something and not have enough knowledge about what it is that you're going to do, right? And expect to be successful, because you probably won't be.
No, and you won't. And you know, going into this game with, you know, thinking, okay, I am immediately going to start making money. They think the license equates to money. No, license is like a business license. You have to be the marketer, sales, the systems. You have to apply all that, the technologies, to position yourself in trying to make some money.
To even be in position to do anything. Absolutely.
And this is a very small percentage that actually makes it. But those that do succeed wildly. Succeed wildly.
Absolutely.
So what is the thing that you do on a daily basis to make sure that your pipeline is constantly filled?
I'm always reaching out to, you know, past or present clients. Always asking for business. And most importantly,
let's touch based on that. I think, you know, again, you know, the whole point of this show is not only to give a background, but to also give some insights to those that follow us about, you know, some things that you have to think about. You know, he said something very important that I think we forget. We're so caught up in just the social media aspect, like really marketing, that we forget to do one thing.
Follow.
Ask for the business. Ask for the business.
Some people don't like to because they feel like, you know, I don't want to ask. It's like asking for a handout. Some people think, right? But it's just part of the business. Every business asks for, you know, external business. You order from Amazon, you get a survey saying, hey, you know, how'd you like, you know, would you like to buy this product, whatever. So it's just the systems that you put in place are going to dictate your success. And especially people that, you know, that already know, like, and trust you. If you can just stay on top of them and communicate with them effectively, they're going to produce for you. Period.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, it's cool to see what you've done with your business, where you're going. And you continue to reinvest in the technologies. You got an entire setup with cameras and stuff as well. What's next for you in your business?
Well, like you said, you know, I bought a camera, right? I did some things and kind of fell off, right? And that's and we talked about that in business, right? Sometimes you fall off track, but you get back on the horse and kind of get back in the direction you're moving. So
collapsing that time.
Collapsing that time, whereas before it may have been a longer stretch. Now it's like a quicker turnaround, right? So, you know, that's my long-term goal is to, here in the short term, is to get somebody that's gonna, you know, be around with me, that can, you know, follow me around, produce more videos, more marketing type things that can stay, so I can stay in front of people and be more relevant.
Yeah, to showcase that you deliver. I mean, it's nice if your clients know, but if more people beyond that don't realize that, it's kind of hard to grow a business, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
And I would, that'd be awesome, man, to see like a reality TV show from Frank Martin Jr., you know?
It'd be pretty dope. Yeah. I mean, I went to school. That was my thing. Like always, I wanted to be in broadcasting. I wanted to be an anchor, right? That was my thing, like football, and then I'm going to be on TV, right? That didn't work out, and I took a different path in life. But I like being in front of the camera. Like I like doing things. It's just the point of having a team around you that you don't have to be doing everything. Like you started this, right? You started, and then look at, you got all these guys.
Yeah, this is
here.
Like the setup is pretty awesome. It's
pretty massive. Yeah, it's pretty dope, man. You got a good.
Yeah, and it started with what just, you know, here's where it started. Like for those of you that understand that part of this game is being a master marketer. You know, for me, everything that I have today, that I run 2 different podcasts. We do different coaching calls throughout the week. You know, before today, I already had 6 hours of just content creation and coaching. And I'm able to be at this level, or produce at this level, because I just had the courage to simply put myself on a selfie video. Right. And this was back in 2014. And back then, there wasn't a lot of people that were doing these type of things. I remember I got a lot of backlash from people within my industry saying, oh, wait, I thought you were a realtor. Like, what are you doing? What's this daily motivation stuff? What's this? And now I had no idea. But now I know technology in a way that I never thought I would understand.
It's crazy.
It's insane. Like I'm running different programs, and now we build our landing pages, and we have like 5 or 6 different softwares running at any given time. And now it's all processing in my mind. But if I didn't do this, and then if I didn't go into iMovie to learn about simple editing,
Yeah.
it would have never graduated me
Yeah.
to what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So
it all starts with something, right? Like you said, it all starts with something, and action is the main thing, right? And then the repetitions you get behind it make you comfortable, and then you're able to kind of put the things into place, right? It
Yeah.
didn't just happen overnight, just
No.
like getting in this business and starting, right? It took time.
It took time.
Practice.
The reps.
And look where you're at now.
yeah, no, it
Yeah.
takes the reps. It really does. And if I didn't, and some of you just need to take that first action because, again, like we talked about earlier, you may be overwhelmed of all the things you have to do, which paralyzes you. And all you simply have to do is just inch forward. Like, what is it that you can learn today? And maybe you just get comfortable with putting out a selfie video.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just take 30 minutes and learn how to iMovie and edit it. It's just inching forward. Then you see another perspective,
Yeah.
another opportunity.
Right.
And now we have a great marketing team supporting the different messages that we're trying to convey to the marketplace,
Sure.
including in our real estate business and also in our coaching business.
Yeah.
And, it's neat that I'm able to see and have these conversations with agents. People are like, well, you're a realtor. It's like, yeah,
But more than just that.
yes, it's
Yeah.
just more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, when it comes to, I think a lot of agents as well are stuck on the skill set aspect of the industry. They want to know the contract in and out. They want to be like the professor and the expert in this. Now, when it comes to skill set and mindset, what do you think is more important? Mindset.
Easy. Mindset. Because if you don't have the wherewithal or the vision to do anything, right? Like, no matter how many skills you have, like, you can't put yourself in the proper direction, right? When you have the proper mindset and the direction that you're able to go, like, you paint yourself the possibilities, right? Then the skills come, and then you put those things together, and they help you accomplish.
And my thing is like this. It's like you can master certain skill sets.
Yeah.
Mindset, there is no mastering mindset. There's always another level.
Always something, yeah.
Your capacity can continue to grow and grow and grow. And I'll tell you what, like, what I'm doing right now would have been overwhelming for me a year ago, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, it was impossible.
Right.
But again, it's being able to step into that uncomfort area, right? The discomfort of it all is what makes you grow on a consistent basis. It's staying on the sidelines that you're just looking at the discomfort. You're like, I better not.
Yeah, that's complacency, right?
Yeah,
that's being content. Like what I mentioned, where I was at previous to coming here, right?
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Now you've had a pretty cool life. Where's your family from originally?
Ethnicity wise,
yeah.
So I'm Cape Verdean.
Cape Verdean, okay.
So Cape Verdean is a series of 10 islands off the west coast of Africa.
Yeah.
And it's a blend of Portuguese and African.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yep.
Is it were your great grandpa or was your parents?
Yeah. So my parents were born here.
Okay.
Previous generations were born like in the islands.
Okay.
And like different combinations. Like some of them were born in the islands. Some of them born like in the Azores, which are islands off the coast of Portugal. Some were born in Portugal. So there's that blend of ethnicity is what makes up the Cape Verdean.
That would explain all the swag, man. You're always like one of the best dressed, always like decked down. You got to see this guy sometimes, man.
We used to say in football, if you feel good, you play good.
Oh yeah.
So you got
the whole Deion,
the
Deion Sanders.
You got your shoes spattered, you got your towel, you got your hands taped up. Yeah, that's how you got to do it.
That he gets ready like for a day in real estate, like he did in football. Hey. He starts putting the
eye black underneath and everything. Yeah. I did that yesterday. I was working out in the garage. I taped my fingers up, trying to bring that swag.
I love it. Now, health is very, very important to you.
Yeah.
You've always just put an emphasis on that. And would you attribute like how you take care of yourself as part of your success in running this industry?
Yeah, I think so, and I think it all goes back to an early age playing sports and having that mentality driven in that you're part of a team. You have to work on things. There's adversity that comes up, and you have to overcome adversity, and all those things like I can attribute to all the negative things that happen in my life. Motorcycle accident, tearing my Achilles.
Oh, wow.
Waiting 18 years to have this baby. Yeah. And still having the wherewithal and the fortitude to push forward, right? Like all these things were set up at an age that, conditioned me to be like that, right? And people see you and they think, oh, yeah, it's easy. No,
it's easy.
There was a lot of things that went into that.
It's always, I think and that's what throws a lot of people off. It's like they only see the end result.
Yeah.
And there's a story of struggle. There's a story of pain, of frustration. I can't tell you, man, like, I think if we start all reflecting back, I mean, there's some big struggles that we each have to overcome.
Yeah.
And it's when we have more appreciation for ourselves and not necessarily compare to what others have. Because every time we compare, we're essentially devaluing what we've accomplished.
Right.
And it's like just bringing it back of how we're improving on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, and you talked about a motorcycle accident, having to recover, being in the hospital, being borderline, disabled, right?
Could have died. Yeah, could have died easily with no helmet, no helmet on, not one scratch on my face.
Wow.
You know, stop, drop, and roll for like 45, 50 feet. You know, somebody hit me when I was doing like 45 miles an hour. I was coming back from the gym. You know, a lot of broken bones, pins, and broken feet, and
road rash. Yeah,
massive road rash. Me and the road have a genuine understanding. Yeah, special bond. Yeah,
special bond.
So
it's got a piece of you. Dude.
It's always that thing. Like I never have a doubt that whatever I'm going through, I'll get past. Like it's never. It's just one thing. Like okay, motorcycle accident. Okay, I have to do this. Bam, it's done. It's like
it goes back to you know what I often say. It's like no, I don't have it all figured out, but somehow I always figure it out, dude. It's like that's something
awesome quote.
that we just can live by on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Frank, a couple last questions I have to ask.
Sure.
Obviously, you're here with AZ & Associates Real Estate Group. This podcast, Badass Agents, is brought to you by AZ & Associates Real Estate Group. What would you tell those people that have been following us for years? And we get a lot of this because the people that come through have been watching us for a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
What would you tell those people that are on the fence, right? That know they have this little voice telling them, you got to move, but they're apprehensive.
Yeah.
What would you tell those people about what should they do if they were thinking about joining AZ & Associates?
First of all, listen to the voice, right? If something's calling you or telling you about something, usually there's a genuine need for you to gravitate to that area. I was on the fence for a while, so I know, right? I was complacent where I was at. I wasn't happy where I was at. I know I was a specific type of person, and where could I go where there are other like-minded, specific type of people? Here, AZ & Associates, right? Yeah. And like I said before, I'll say it again, like this is the best decision I've made in my life, but not only my business, but my body, my family, like relationships, physical fitness, like everything has changed, like literally. So if you want to have it all, and if you're just not concerned about your real estate business as a singular thing, and you want it all, you want to have a better life, family life, personal life, everything, come here. Like come here. You've obviously taken the leap to go whatever company you're at now, right? You took that risk. I'm telling you right now, I was there. I was you. I would not be the person I am today, be able to have the type of family life and understanding with my wife and with my family that I have today, and not be able to build the business I have today if I hadn't come here. Period.
Dude,
Period.
Man, holy whew.
Period.
Thank you, man. And here's the thing, like it's people like you, the people within the organization really just fuel me, you know? And once I realized that if I just build myself, help others build themselves, and now you're building others, it's like a domino effect, you know? There's no way you can lose when you condition yourself to win, right? You cannot lose when you condition yourself to win. And he talks about such an array of things that we constantly work on, you know? It's being intentional about every aspect of your life, and it's living that life on fire. And for so many years, like I was so driven by the money and the business that I felt like this emptiness within me, and I couldn't figure it out. So I just tried to make more money and more money, and yet the emptiness got bigger and bigger. Yeah. Well, I was leaving a lot of people.
Yeah, you create the void, right? That's that
the
emptiness.
void.
Yeah,
exactly it. That space, the disconnection with Carla, our marriage was falling apart. Yeah. Like I said, the first 5 or 6 years of my daughter's lives, I fucked that up. I messed that up. Yeah. And now that I'm able to just be intentional about every aspect of my life, it's like, even though on the bad days, you just know, like, it's all right.
It's done.
I got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Frank Martin Jr., I want to thank you for joining me for an episode of Badass Agents.
My pleasure. Thanks,
bro. You are a badass. If you're not following Frank Martin, check him out on Instagram under what?
Frank Martin _ Jr.
And
Instagram.
Also on Facebook, right?
Yes.
And where can they find you there?
Facebook. You know what? I'm not really sure.
Frank Martin.
Frank Martin Jr. Just look up. Just search me. You'll find me.
Type in badass.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank.
That might work.
That might work.
That might work.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining me again for another episode of Badass Agents, brought to you by AZ & Associates Real Estate Group. If you're in the position where you want to make a move or have that conversation, I would encourage you to go to www.empire.vision, check out the different videos, check out the different things that are going on that page. And if it resonates with you, just follow that voice, fill out the application. One of our coaches, Carla or myself, will reach out to you to schedule that one-on-one meeting. And again, it's not for everyone. Frank has said it, it's not for everyone. But if you're looking to grow in all aspects of your life, this is where you need to be. So go to www.empire.vision. And until next time, I will talk to you soon. Thank you.